Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Tuesday, December 17th. We're going to take a look at PLAB today. So, Photronics was suggested to me or requested in a comment. If you have a stock or stocks that you'd like me to take a look at, please just put the tickers in the comments, and I will do my best to keep track of those and plug them in. So, here's what I see for PLAB. So, the other day it had a big plus 10.82% day, followed by a minus 6.38% day. And what that sort of served to do was just kind of reintegrate the price action into this area that it's been holding for quite some time. So we have this up channel that kicked off on 8/5, so August 5th. It tried to initially push through, came back down and sort of confirmed this on September 10th. So over the course of about a month, it came in and reconfirmed it, and then worked off of the top here, worked off of the bottom here, top, bottom, and then double bottomed, and then that's where it shot up. But as you see, much like back here, it could not hold any sustained price action outside of this even being much further away from the up channel, but also a quicker reintegration back into the up channel. So to me, that's the tale of PLAB at the moment, is to the degree to which you want to consider buying as it heads toward the lower bound of the channel and exiting as it heads toward the upper bound of the channel. You know, that could be a way to play this. Just keep in mind that eventually all channels break, and whether that means that this baby shoots through the roof and then starts put action up way over here, thus rendering this completely useless, or if the next time it comes down and you think that you're getting a great dip buy, is it's going to bounce off the lower bound of the channel and it kind of just slips right through it and then carries on its merry way. Again, sort of just dismantling the channel by falling out the bottom of it. You know, that's the risk that you run playing channels, is eventually they all break. Some last for months or even years, but they all do break eventually. As you see, you can sort of visualize probably the down channel that it was in here, right? And it has since sort of moved away from that. So that is a prime example, if you will. Now, so the up channel is one thing, and I'm sorry, it does make the chart look a little bit cluttered to look at it this way, but I couldn't ignore the channel. So I put in these support and resistance levels in blue to begin with, and then I, knew that I needed to put the channel in there as well, and it just made it kind of cluttered. But so it goes. Ended today at 26.23. The nearest in resistance level that I see is 26.93, which is right here, which is about what it pushed off of today. Today's high was 26.90. Yeah, so 3 cents shy of that level. Support level, as far as I see it, setting the channel aside, 24.97. And it could come down there, in the next few days or so and sort of do a double support bounce off of that support level, bounce off of the lower bound of the channel. Again, with the caveat that it could break through both of those and nullify them. So just because there are support levels there doesn't mean it has to bounce. Keep that in mind. If it does slip through that, 22.74, 21.46, and 19.81 are the support levels that I see below it, at least the strong ones. I tried to spread them out a little bit. Again, I know the chart feels cluttered, but I did try to not just pile on the levels. Now, if it gets some legs and it gets through this 26.93, gets through this upper bound of the channel and gets some more sustained motion above and through the channel, 28.15, 29.59, 31.26, and 32.68. I think that's as high. Yep, that's as high as I've plotted it for now. So I've plotted it from 19.81 up to 32.68. So we've covered a lot of ground, plus the channel that runs through all of those price points. And so hopefully that covers PLAB for quite some time, covers some motion. But if it does get above or below any of these things and you want me to come take another look, just let me know in the comments. Now, think or swim side of things, this tells a bit of an interesting story. And actually, we're going to take a look at the EMAs when we hop back to the Weeble, so don't leave just yet if you're interested in that. So it shot above the call trigger. It did sort of a pretty crazy thing, to be honest. It had motion here just at the base ATR level in December, and then it didn't get action, like it didn't get a whole candle above the call trigger, which is this blue level right here. All it did was it sort of wicked off of it, and then it put in another candle below it, and then it both shot above the call trigger and also shot through the +1 ATR. So it's ran through all of the the call trigger ATR levels for this month, but it did it in a really weird, awkward way. That said, if you look what's happening since then, it's catching support right along the call trigger. That call trigger right now is situated at 25.96. So that would be something to maybe keep an eye on. Does it have another go toward that +1 ATR, which is 29.37, if it can hold this support at the call trigger, and therefore sort of continue playing out the call trigger? 27.33 looks to be, for now at least, the January call trigger. So if it gets into it and it's sort of situated in that range, and the +1 there for now is at 30.90. So getting it into the 30s in January if it plays through that call trigger as well. You can see where the put trigger and then the -1s are down here. Really quickly, there was maybe a decent call by the TTM squeeze indicator. We see, if we look back here, we had a pretty lengthy trigger and fire, and things got really sort of roller coastery then. Ultimately, sort of a double dipper there, and then hit this low of 2025, and then a slow build back, and then it started to trigger again, and then fired again, got a little roller coastery, and then we had that huge move up, and now this huge, equal but opposite reaction for the moment. So I don't know if there's more sort of rocky roads to come, like we saw here, how lengthy this fire period was and how roller coastery it became and sustained over time. But, maybe something will continue to take shape there as well. But to me, those ATR levels are probably the most interesting. Looking here at the EMAs, if I were playing PLAB and I wanted just the simplest look at it, aside from just looking at the channel that we had, the other thing I might consider is just having the EMAs on the chart and nothing else, because it's situated right now above this gray 183 EMA. And to me, that is sort of the most important level at the moment. I was going to say the be all end all, but that's too hyperbolic. Everything is in a bullish formation at the moment, with the 8 above the 21, 20 above 34, 34 above the 183. And so right now it's trying to catch support off of the 8 EMA. Great. That's like exactly what you'd want to see when something rockets and then pulls back hard. You want to see where it's going to bang off of to maybe give you some indication of, hey, do we still have some bullish momentum here? Do we still have some bullish strength that could be played out in the days ahead? Right now, with it trying to sustain support at that 8 EMA, that would seem to indicate yes. Could it still dip down further and need to test 21 or even the 34? Yeah, for sure. But if it loses that 183 EMA support, that's going to be sort of a tough go. We see here it had support. Let's see what happened in years gone by. So it came through, sort of wrestled with it a little bit, right? It didn't really turn on the 183, wrestled with it, ultimately was able to get another big push off of it, banged into it, tried to push again, banged into it, wrestled with it. Here it lost it quite a bit, confirmed resistance on it, and caught resistance on another full swing, and then that brings us to where we are today, right? A slight push above, wrestling with it, and now trying to get some sustained motion above it again. So it has, in the recent past, had strong sustained motion over the 183 for several periods of time, looking like it's spent more time above, and especially significant motion above than below. So maybe there's something that's going to be able to develop and sort of reinvigorate that motion above the 183 EMA. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, a bunch of volume shelves that should come into play here. I would expect it to get caught by a bunch of these and at least be sticky, unless something sort of unforeseen comes through and just sort of, slashes the stock. But that would tend to lend support to volume coming in and continuing to try to at least, if not prop up the share price, give it a push. So that looks just, sort of fine and dandy as well. But that EMA setup, certainly nothing to ignore in my mind. All right, folks, so I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.